We're so glad you're here and you're taking a proactive approach to your health. For this workout, you'll need a towel and hand weights that are appropriate for your strength level. Let's begin your full body strength training workout. To begin, we're going to start down on your side for our warm-up. We're going to be moving into what's called a clam opener. This is going to be great for warming up the hips and the low back. So just making yourself comfortable on your side, your knees will be bent and stacked in front. Now keeping those feet stuck together, we're going to start to open and close the knee. And I also want to make sure that your belly button is pointed down towards the floor. So let's start that from the very beginning so we're not starting to drop that hip back. It's a very small range of motion. We don't need to make it any bigger. So just by pointing that belly button down to the floor, we're starting to move from this top hip. You'll start to feel this soon enough, and this is such a great one for really strengthening those hips. Keeping your upper body relaxed. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to come up and over to the other side. And same thing, warming up this hip over here. So upper body is relaxed, feet stay stuck together, make sure those knees are bent and stacked in front, belly button's pointed to the floor, and begin. Up and down. Starting to feel those hips warm up. Getting that low back activated so it's nice and warm for the exercises to come. Keeping the range of motion small, but it's very effective. 3, 2, and 1. Now let's roll onto your back. We're gonna be warming up your core. This is called a full body crunch. So what we're gonna do first is bring those legs up into a tabletop position, and your low back is pushed down into the floor. Your abs should already feel like they're turned on. Now you're gonna take the hands directly on top of your knees, and what we're doing here, using your abdominals, you're gonna be pressing the knees into your hands and your hands right back into those knees. Ready? Begin. So you're creating this tension, you're creating a crunch through the core. This is all about the abs here. So tighten up those abs, push that belly button into the floor, make sure there's no gap between your low back and the floor. And the more you press into this, the more you put into this, the more you're gonna get out of it. So really try to hold this contraction, make sure you're breathing through this. Now if you do need to modify, you can take those feet to the floor, but just continue the press. Otherwise you're in tabletop. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good work. Okay, now we're gonna come up to standing. I need you to find a wall. We're gonna go into wall angels. This is great for your posture. So just making sure your feet are just far enough away from the wall where we can create a pelvic tuck, getting your low back pressed into the wall. So do that first. Then we're gonna open up those arms and trying to press the head, hand, and elbow into the wall. Ready, begin. So what's happening here is we have our lower body with that pelvic tuck, the cheeks are squeezing, those abs are on, you're pulling that belly button into the wall just like we had been on the floor, and our upper body is stretching, it's opening, we're trying to pull it all back. Now if you're a little tight here, that's perfectly fine. Maybe your hand can't actually touch the wall, that's okay. Just keep doing what you can, make sure those shoulders are down and away from your ears, and just hold this. This is a lot of work, but great stuff for your posture. 2, 1, rest. Great job. Let's start our workout. We're gonna grab your hand weights, moving into a row. So for our row, we need to first hinge. So keeping your back as flat as you can, hinge back through the hips, and now we begin our row. Ready, begin. So you're pulling those arms up, pulling those elbows next to your sides, kind of squeezing into your side, and we are pulling those shoulder blades together in the back. Making sure that the neck is nice and long. You might be looking about 2 to 3 feet in front of you. You're not looking up at the wall necessarily. It's just trying to keep the length through the top of your head, through your back, lengthening through the top of the head and the tailbone here to really get that nice, long, strong back. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. We're gonna move into abs. So you're gonna lay on your back. So let's get our core turned on. So we have that belly button pressing to the floor, low back stays on the ground. You can place your hands under your tailbone if you need a little help doing that for your low back. And we're gonna cycle the legs. Ready and begin. Bicycling the legs, nice big circles. So the head stays down, that way our neck stays turned off. We're just focusing on the core here. Try not to make this a leg exercise. This really should be isolated to your core. The bigger the circles, the harder this becomes. The lower to the floor the legs go, the harder that becomes. So if you need to modify, just bring those legs a little higher if you need to. The hands underneath the tailbone also help protect your back. 2, 1, and rest. Now we're gonna come onto your hands and knees. We're gonna be working shoulders. We are gonna be alternating the arms here. So what we're gonna do is extend one arm up by your ear, down, and then the other side. So begin. So we're gonna alternate these arms. This is great for training this upper back, getting a little bit of flexibility through the shoulders, only move in the range of motion you're able to, but you'll notice that Shelley has her thumb pointed up to the ceiling. I need you to do that too. So you kind of rotate as you come up, trying to get as close to the ears as you can, while you also stabilize this lower body here. It's not moving a whole lot. So keep breathing here, do what you can. What we want to do here is also make sure the shoulders stay down and rest. Good work. Let's start back in our row. So we're going to come up to standing, our second round. You'll use your hand weights for this one. So hinging from the hips, ready, and begin. So pulling those elbows up, trying to reach those elbows up towards the ceiling along the side of the rib cage. You're squeezing the shoulder blades together here while also being aware of where your shoulders are. So you don't want them up in your ears. We don't want them to slump forward. We're keeping that chest open all the time with a nice long flat back. Keep your low abs turned on to help support this low back. Pressing those hips back. You can bend the knees if you're having a hard time keeping that flat back. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. Let's move down to the floor for our ab work. We're gonna add a progression for this one. So remember, the first round we just did bicycle legs. This time we're gonna add a crunch. So let's take those hands behind your head. We're gonna come up in our crunch using your abdominals and then begin to cycle the legs. Ready, begin. So this is still all about the abs here. We're keeping that low back pressed into the floor. Your belly button is sinking down into the floor. We're trying to pull those shoulder blades off the ground the best that you can while keeping the weight of your head in your hands, so that way we don't turn on our neck too much. But feel free to modify and just take that head right back down if you need to. You can also take those legs a little higher to the ceiling as a modification. Keep breathing here and keep that work right in your core. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Moving on to your hands and knees. So really paying attention to form for this one. As we start to alternate the arms, remember to rotate to where that thumb turns up. Ready, and begin. So this is also a hard one. Sometimes it's difficult to keep that arm straight, but that's gonna be very important here, keeping the arm straight as it extends from the body, but we're also packing the shoulder. We're actively keeping these shoulders down, pressing into our hips, so we're not shrugging. So it's about keeping that shoulder down and next to the ear the best that you can. So keep working on this range of motion. There should be no pain through your shoulders. One arm might feel a little tighter than the other. That's perfectly normal. 2, 1, and rest. We're in our third round. Let's grab our weights, coming up to standing. So remember our hinge, our safe flat back. Ready, and hinge, begin. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. I love this one because it works your posture. With our warm-up when we did the wall angels, this is kind of, that warmed us up for this type of exercise here, making sure that we've got this whole upper back warmed up, turned on, working properly, so we're always keeping our upright posture. Looking in front of you about 2 to 3 feet, just ensuring that your neck is long. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work, back to our abs. So on your back. Okay, we're gonna transition this into a crisscross bicycle, meaning not only are we crunching and cycling the legs, but we're gonna add a crisscross as we go. Opposite elbow goes to the opposite knee. Ready, and begin. So this is a lot more advanced. We now have turned on our obliques, the sides of the waistline. We're working all the way across that torso. Make sure you're breathing, usually an exhale as you twist if you're able to do that, but just keeping that steady breath with your core turned on. That low back does not leave the floor. Keep pressing down into that floor. Looking great. Just move at your own pace. Slower is better. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. And onto your hands and knees. Going into our shoulder flexion. So we want to make sure our lower body is stable, abs are on, and begin alternating those arms. So screwing the shoulder into the body, that thumb comes up, that really just helps to increase the work that's happening here in our shoulders, strengthening them, pulling those shoulders down and back. This also helps improve our posture, increases our range of motion so we don't have such a stiff upper back. Looking great. Just keep doing what you can, keeping that arm straight, shoulders packed. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good work. We're going into our new set of exercises. This next one is called a plank hover. So setting up, your hands will be directly underneath your shoulders and your knees will be directly underneath your hips. You're gonna curl your toes under. Now this is all about your core, so I need you to turn on your abs right now. And now lift those knees off the ground. Here we go. This is a 30-second hold. There's barely a lift, so about an inch or two off the ground, not very high at all, because Shelley's got a great flat back here. She's not putting her hips way up in the air, and that's what I need you to do too. So just keeping your body as strong as you can, holding the position. So remember to breathe here. That belly button's tight, pulled up towards your spine. If you need to take a rest, go ahead and take a rest, but just come right back up as soon as you can. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good work. Moving into our hydrant. So we're gonna be opening up one leg to the side, keeping that knee bent. Ready, begin. So just one leg for now. Open and close. This is not a huge range of motion, so just being sure that you're not shifting way over. There should be equal weight in your hands. And this is warming up and strengthening your hip and your cheek here. So just keep on moving, keeping that knee bent the whole time. And again, length through your neck, shoulders down. And keep breathing. You're gonna be feeling the sides of your waistline working here too. 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest there. Then we're gonna switch legs. Ready, and begin. So just open and close that knee, taking it out to the side, working the hip, working the cheek. You'll also feel your stabilizing leg as well. That's perfectly fine. Keeping those abs strong. Again, that belly button still pulling up towards the spine. Long neck, equal weight in your hands. Keep breathing. Looking great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna lay down on your back. You are gonna wanna grab a towel here. We are gonna emphasize inner thighs as we bridge. So the towel is gonna be squeezing between the knees. This turns on the inner thighs. Then I want you to be able to press through your heels, squeeze your cheeks, and we're gonna be bridging up and down. Ready, begin. So we are bridging up and down, squeezing all the way to the top. So this is all about those cheeks, and you're squeezing into the towel so you'll feel those inner thighs activating, and also the back side of your legs. We wanna make sure that there's still a pelvic tuck here so that your low back does not take over. We are strengthening it, but should not be your primary muscle working here. And just keep on breathing. That neck and shoulders are relaxed on the floor. This is all about the lower half of the body. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Now we're gonna roll over onto your stomach. We want your upper body to be very relaxed. We're gonna be focusing on this lower half here. So first, squeeze the cheeks and tuck them under. So this is in your pelvic tuck. Then we're gonna start to lift one leg at a time, working from your cheek. So alternating the legs, begin. The legs stay nice and long. You're reaching away from the hip as you still create that pelvic tuck. So you're pushing the hips down to be able to lift one knee at a time. You're leveraging that knee up. So this is coming from here, from the cheeks. They're alternating the work here. Your abs are still strong. This not only is focusing on the glutes and the back sides of the legs, this is also fantastic for strengthening this low back as well. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Now we're gonna go up into the wall squat. So I need you to find your wall. So this one, you're gonna want to make sure that your feet are far enough away from the wall to begin. So you should be able to see your toes. So when you sit back on the wall, your upper body's gonna kind of pin you back. So those abs are tight. Now you're gonna start to slide down the wall. So only go as low as you can, comfortably can, and still be able to get back out of it. We're on. So this is a 30-second hold. Shelley, I'm gonna have you even walk your feet even farther from your body. So when you look down, you should be able to see your toes. You've got a pretty good 90-degree angle going on here, and you are also pushing that low back into the wall. So this is great for those legs. This is great for building that strength for squats. This allows us to get up and out of our chairs a little bit easier. We're almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good work. Let's go back into our plank hover. We're in our second round. So remember, all about our core here. Hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are bent, feet are curled under. Turn on your abs, and we lift and hold. So this is a 30-second hold. I want you to try to hang in there as long as you can, but if you need to take rest, go ahead and take them. But come right back up when you can. Try not to cheat. Remember, your back needs to stay flat. Your hips should not be way up in the air. And you have a nice long neck with packed shoulders. Try not to round, try not to hunch. And remember to breathe here and keep that belly button tight and pulled up towards your spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Moving into hydrant, so moving into the hip work. Ready, begin. Open and close from that hip. You're gonna feel your abs here. You're stabilizing through the sides of your waistline. Keeping equal weight between your hands. This is really helpful because it helps us from just shifting weight over. That way we're more balanced. We've got the work staying in the right places. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we have the other side. Ready, begin. So working from the side of your cheek. This is such a great one for also toning the sides of your thighs, toning the cheek, keeping those abs active. Feeling that burn here. Looking great, you're almost there. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and moving into bridge on your back. So we're gonna grab your towel. The towel will be between the knees to turn on those inner thighs a little bit more. Pressing through your heels, pelvic tuck, and begin bridging up and down. So this is, again, all about those cheeks. We really want those to be as activated as possible. And then we're getting some extra inner thigh work here by really squeezing into your towel. So make sure that you're doing that. Be very active here, very purposefully toning those inner thighs. We want to make sure that your back is not taking over here. So make sure that the glutes, those cheeks, are strong. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest there, good. And now rolling onto your stomach. We're gonna progress this one a little bit. So the very first round, we're alternating the legs. This time, what I want you to be able to do is lift both legs at the same time. So pelvic tuck, squeeze your cheeks, and begin to lift up and down. So legs are long, they're stuck together. We're trying to get those knees off the ground. It's not a huge lift, but just enough to get them off the ground. You will really feel this work here, but it's important that those legs stay straight. Lengthen through those toes and keep pushing those hips down into the floor. That's so important here. That is gonna keep your low back safe, but still be able to appropriately strengthen it. Work those cheeks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest, good work. Then we're gonna go to our wall sit. So find your wall space. We wanna make sure that your feet are far enough away. So really check in on that because we want safe knees here. And then you're gonna lower down into your squat and hold, 30-second hold. So Shelley's got a nice deep squat here. Do what you can. You wanna make sure you're able to get out of it, but you also wanna make sure that you're challenging yourself and strengthening yourself in this position. You're using your quads, your hamstrings, your cheeks, and your abs all at one time. Really co-contracting here. Make this work, make this effective. Make sure those heels are on the ground too, and you're lengthening through the top of your head. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1, rest. And our third round, back to our plank hover. So this is a plank position with our knees bent. This is a great way to transition into plank, but in no way is it too easy. So I really need you to just really work that core here. Ready? Begin. We lift with just that little hover. Those knees are off the ground. We have a nice flat back, lengthening through the top of the head. You're just looking at the ground there, just past the fingertips, and focus on your core. It's okay if your legs are burning too. I know that we just did those wall squats. You did a great job there, and now we're concentrating here, keeping that entire core on. Those legs are working. Rest when you need it, but really try to see what you're capable of here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. All right, moving into your hydrants. We're gonna be working from the hip. Ready, begin. Keep your core activated here once again, and then we are strengthening and toning this cheek, the side of the hip. This is such a nice one for really giving that cheek nice shape and tone, but it's also keeping our hips very strong, very functional. And just remember to breathe here. You do have that equal weight between your hands and a nice long neck, so we keep this upper body nice and still. 2, 1, and switch sides. Ready, begin. Again, your back is nice and flat. You have your belly button pulled up, and your neck is nice and long. You're gonna be feeling the burn here. Third round, feeling the hip, feeling the cheek, and even feeling that stabilizing leg too. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Laying on your back. So you want to grab your towel. Place that towel between your knees. Give it a good squeeze. You're going to be pressing through your heels, pelvic tuck to begin, and we bridge and begin up and down. So squeeze into that towel. Don't let that towel go anywhere. We're toning those inner thighs. We're toning the hips, the cheeks, the backs of the legs. Squeeze everything you got back there. Really pinch the cheeks, squeeze the top. Make sure your back does not take over here. You're almost done. Keep focusing on those inner thighs as well. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Moving on to your stomach. Once again, we're gonna progress this next exercise, but remember, you can always go back to the first or second round where it's slightly modified. So what we're gonna do here is both legs are gonna be lifting, and we'll add the alternating flutter kick. So our very first step, squeeze your cheeks, tuck those hips into the floor. Then we're gonna lift both legs. They stay off the ground, and begin to alternate the legs. So it's a very small lift, but there's a lot of work happening here. Your abs need to be strong against the floor. Your upper body is relaxed. Make sure you're not trying to move your head to be able to move these legs. And lengthening through those legs is so important, because I don't want you to start to bend your knee. You're gonna lose the work that's happening in those cheeks if you start to do that. So working one cheek at a time to create that lift, but your entire lower body is turned on to create this range of motion. 2, 1, and rest. We have our last wall sit, so let's come up to the wall. Okay, so just making sure your form is right. Remember, we don't want any pain in your knees. So do what you can, but keep it safe. And let's lower into that squat. Here we go. We're holding 30 seconds. So Shelley's nice and tall. She's upright, length through the top of her head. You just want to make sure you're trying to stay as relaxed as possible, where you're not letting those shoulders climb up into your ears. You've got your core activated, pressed back. She's into a nice low squat here. See what you're able to do, but make sure you're able to get out of it as well. And you're working your quads, the top of your legs, the back sides of your legs, and your cheeks. You're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and rest. It is time for our cool down, so go ahead and lay down on your back. We're gonna go into a hamstring stretch first. It's helpful to use a towel for this one. So you can place the towel over your foot, We want it to be on your toe side here because that also helps to stretch out your calf. So I'm actually gonna have you bend this knee here just to put a little less pressure on your back, and your leg is going as straight as you can. Let's hold this stretch. Shelley's very flexible here, but just do what you can. You might not be able to fully extend your leg. You might be just where she is. So just kind of find out what you're able to do today. If there's a little bit of that shake in the leg, that's okay. That's perfectly fine as long as you're not straining anything. And that towel is helping you pull that toe towards the forehead. That really helps to stretch out the ankle and the calf as well. A couple more seconds here. And let's switch out those legs. Getting it right onto that toe to help you get that extra stretch. The knee stays bent, so that way your low back is pressed into the floor, and we're holding this stretch at least 30 seconds. Trying to lengthen through the heel up to the ceiling. Your upper body will stay relaxed. Don't feel like you have to pick up your head. This is our nice, gentle cool down. There. And rest. For our next stretch, it might be helpful to sit on your towel. So we're gonna go ahead and just kind of fold it up and then sit right on top of it. We're gonna extend one leg out wide while the other knee is tucked into your body. So this should help you to where you don't feel like you're having too much pressure on your hips. So let's bend one heel into your body, and then with both hands, you're gonna be reaching for your foot. So just reach where you can. Don't force anything here. You're tucking your chin. You should feel lengthening through your side, through your back, and through this leg, getting that stretch. Gentle breaths, releasing those muscles that we've worked today. Now we're going to be taking this top arm over, and now just kind of stretching out this entire side. So this stretches through the rib cage and down into your hip. It's important you keep both of your cheeks still touching the floor. And you can even use this hand on the floor for extra support if you need it. This should feel really nice, stretching through your side, helping to loosen up the back. Now we'll be moving forward with the hands. So this is a forward stretch, just reaching through the legs. Tuck your chin, try to melt into this stretch. Release any tension that you might be holding in your neck and shoulders. I hope you're feeling a nice stretch in your low back as well. And you're probably feeling a little bit of inner thigh and leg stretch in this outstretched leg. Slowly rolling up, we're gonna switch out those legs. So now we'll tuck in that stretched leg and go to the other side. So with both hands, you're gonna reach towards the foot. Again, just kind of melt into this stretch, trying to release any extra tension that you're holding. Just let that chin drop. Getting that stretch through that leg that we've worked so hard today. Next, we'll be moving into our side stretch. So we'll come up and over the top, reaching over. Just find a comfortable position that works for you. Make sure that both of your cheeks are still on the ground though. We don't want to tip. Nice deep breaths. You'll feel your rib cage kind of expand in this stretch. So take advantage of that. It should feel really nice. And then we'll be moving forward. So both hands will reach through the center, tucking your chin and melt into this stretch. Try to release any extra tension that you're holding. It should feel really relaxing. Relaxation breathing. Now we're gonna come up to standing. So let's take your time coming up to standing, and we're gonna get a neck stretch in. So let's stand up nice and tall, and we're gonna grab with the right hand onto that left arm. So we're gonna pull the shoulder down. Then we're gonna bring the right ear over to your right shoulder and just hold this stretch. So from the back, it looks like this. So we're just giving that little tug to one arm so we accentuate that stretch and lengthening through the neck, keeping both shoulders down. Just being careful that you're not letting your body really tilt to one side. You're still upright, but the stretch really is gonna be very nice along that neck and into the base of the shoulder. Make sure you're not straining anything. This should just be a very nice, gentle stretch. Now we'll gently bring that head back up to center. We're gonna switch the arms, give that little tug to keep those shoulders pulling down, and then bringing that left ear to your left shoulder. And we hold that stretch. And again, just making sure it's very gentle, no straining. You might feel stiffer on one side than the other. That's perfectly fine. And keep breathing here. Keep dropping those shoulders. This should feel really nice after all the exercises we've done today. And now gently bring that head back up to center, and you can release those arms. And you are doing a great job at improving your body's health and longevity. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.